Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's 8 o'clock. We'll let everyone start to trickle in, give everyone a few moments to kind of get settled and get situated. I like to start off every meeting with gratitude. And so today I'm grateful that it's sunny outside. I'm grateful that I have 3 new clients that are active and looking for homes. And despite absolutely getting kicked in the teeth yesterday on 3 different offers that I wrote, all of the clients are still with me and stoked to continue looking at new houses today. Which is really the best that you can hope for when you lose a multiple offer situation. And so I'm grateful that I am busy today on this week where I know that other people are wishing that they were busier. Thanks everyone joining us. Appreciate you being here. I guess to start off, I want to start with a really quick piece of info about the reticular activating system. It's a part of our brain that really informs me why I start off every day with gratitude. If I said red Prius, red Prius, red Prius, red Prius to you right now, trust me, for the rest of the day, you'll be noticing all the red Priuses in your area that you didn't think existed. Because when we prime our brain to think about something, that thing that we're thinking about expands. And that works for anything from a red Prius to gratitude to unhappiness about the market or the interest rate. And so I have been in a lot of different conversations this month where everyone says nothing is working because the interest rate is too high. And I simply don't care what the interest rate is. I am grateful that I have a real estate license and clients that need to transact. I am grateful that I do not sell Cutco knives. I sell houses. And so is it uncomfortable for the interest rate to be at 8%? Yes, but there are still plenty of people that are willing to transact. It's our job to go and find them and do the best that we can to help provide good service. Today's meeting is not about that. It's about time management. But I think that when we focus on the right things, time management becomes a lot easier. And so I try to wake up every morning and start with the gratitude that things will work out for the day and then figure out how to make that true. Because if we start from that position, I promise you the day is a lot easier. Autumn, let's start with the video on rocks. This is a video that has come to me from when I was very little, and it has always made sense to me. And so I just want to play it, and then we can do a quick chat about it. Cool. Thank you, Autumn. So it's kind of short, sweet, and to the point. I'm not religious, and so for me, God is not the first thing that goes in. Real estate is the first thing that goes in. But I will say that I think the point is very easily made there. How many people think they start the day with social media right now? Me too. And that's one of the biggest things that I try not to do. When I wake up in the morning, I do my best to avoid social media. I actually took 60 days off over the last 2 months, and I wanted to see if it would negatively or positively impact my business. What I noticed is that YouTube is still a form of social media, and so cutting out Facebook and Instagram is ineffective if you use YouTube still. My screen time did not decrease. My time management did not increase. I just shifted my block. And so lately I've been going back to some old basics on how to really control my time. And it's just straight elimination of the things that are not important and really clearly identifying 4 or 5 categories that I do have control over that I can focus on and get to first before I allow anything else to get in my way. And I think that when I do that, there really is plenty of time in my day to get through the other things. And so if I were to ask everyone, just, type in the chat if you don't feel comfortable talking, what are some of the things that you think you have direct control over that lead to an escrow or a closing? Because let's face it, we all get paid when something closes and we love getting paid. And so what are the things that we actually have control over? Because if I said, hey, go generate a deal today, that's a little bit more esoteric than some of the more specifics that we could get into. And so hit me with what you guys think you have control over. Debbie, I'm glad you needed that. Yep, I love that video. I think it's fantastic.
I think more so I needed the comment about gratitude and starting your day with the gratitude and with the positive mindset that it's going to be a good day. Things are going to work in my favor. That to me is something that's been difficult to do on a daily basis because of the challenges that a lot of agents are facing in today's market.
I love that. And I think that with our reticular activating system, if we wake up every morning and go, oh my God, the economy, the interest rates are at 8%, my colleague down the street hasn't had a closing, that's the thing that immediately expands through the day. And I promise you, the first client that is negative at you, that's all you can focus on. But if you take just 5 or 10 minutes and just go sit in the sun, like I finally live in an area that's warm and sunny, and that has not been the case for the last few months. And so it has been harder for me to find gratitude. But when I'm in the middle of summer, it's so easy for me to just go out on a walk, find some nature, be with the sun, and say, I have all of my limbs. My clients love me. My family loves me. I have a doodle that's a golden retriever doodle sitting right here chewing on a bone next to me, and he's absolute sunshine and joy. And if I focus on those things for just 5 minutes, I will find the first opportunity and solution, and I can build off of that, even if it's a small one. So for me, I build a checklist every day, and I look at that checklist and I make sure that it is organized in the way that I need to. Yes, Galen, making phone calls. I think that we'll get to that as the only thing we actually have control over, is generating new clients. I have 4 categories of things that I focus on every day. The one that's most important to me is offer-related tasks. That's writing an offer, negotiating an offer, or any discovery necessary to make sure a client feels comfortable putting together that offer. To me, if I have anyone that is willing to take action, that is the number one thing that I have to be focused on that day. Yep, you can control how we respond to things. I love that answer. When I look at if I have anyone that's ready to transact and make an offer, that is number one, because it's all on me to generate that next step. They've already said I'm probably willing, but maybe they need this thing. Maybe we need to find out what the seller's willing to take. Maybe I need to run a comp analysis. That better get done like within 5 to 10 minutes of me finding out that it's assigned to me. Like if I go to bed at 11 and my client is thinking about it and he wakes up and says, yeah, I want to write that offer better be written 35 minutes later, because the time for them to take action, their excitement about it is right then. And so I don't care what is on fire in my life. If a tenant is exploding, water is raining from the sky, hell is opening up below me, I'm going to get that offer done, because I actually don't have control over my client's willingness. No matter how much I think I do, my client is the one that generated that action, and it is a huge gift that I get to write that offer. And so it's got to get done immediately. If I don't have any offers to write or negotiate, then the next thing is, how can I get an active client off of the bench and into the world, looking at kitchens, looking at multiplexes, looking at whatever they're looking at? Because contrary to popular belief, your clients do not choose what home they want from Zillow or Realtor.com. They choose it when they are standing inside of it, looking at their Pinterest board going, yes, I see my furniture here. And so you have to get them into that home as quickly as possible. That looks like sending them options. That looks like calling them and making sure that they have looked at the options that you emailed them, because contrary to your belief that you sending it is enough, your clients are busy. They are also sad, and they did not have coaching with me this morning saying to focus on gratitude. And so they might be feeling their feelings, and you got to rip them out of their feelings and put them in a house. I almost always have a deck of willing and active clients that are ready to look at houses. And so right now, most of my day is spent in these first 2 categories. And it's very easy for me to spend all of my hours just wrangling my clients, getting them into houses, and then writing the offers. That's really great, because it means my speed to get a closing is actually pretty fast, as long as I'm doing my job right and listening to my clients. If I don't have any of those actions to take, then I have to go generate a willing client. That's probably a buyer or a seller consultation that hasn't happened yet. That's a new client that I might have been speaking to. I've already planted some seeds, but I can go back to them and say, hey, it's really time for us to go meet. Can I take you to coffee? Can I cook you a steak at my house? What is it going to take for me to get an hour to an hour and a half with you to really sit down and talk about your goals? That way I can generate that next step, which is creating that willing client. All of these actions, in my opinion, are presupposed on one activity having been done enough. And that's what Gay said earlier, making phone calls. And I think this is something that all agents, or at least most agents, really don't like. We love it when someone calls us. We're happy to handle conflict. If something is going wrong that we know how to fix, we can dive right in. It's not like we're not willing to do that. But for me, at least, there's a big fear around generating brand new phone calls, because this is the opportunity where I'm at greatest risk of failure, and I'm also at the greatest risk of looking bad. And so I generated this whole activity. I didn't need to. And if it goes badly, it's going to sting me emotionally. And I don't know if that fits for everyone, but it fits for enough of my team that I wanted to bring it up. Is that real for anyone here? Yep. Seeing some head nods. And so when I think about that action set, it's actually the most important that gets done. It doesn't have to be done by you, but locating and finding brand new possible willing clients is the number one most important thing that we all have to focus on and make sure is getting done. In my case, I make sure that my ISAs are doing it for me and that my systems are now really aggressive at keeping track of my old clients. However, my first year in the business, I literally had 2 Bluetooth headsets strapped to my head that did not come off 24 hours a day. And they were connected to 2 individual phones that rang off the hook because I had all of this different marketing, Facebook, Instagram, Zillow. I spent so much money putting my name out there. Unfortunately, that's not sustainable, especially not in this market. When I joined in 2016, the cost of leads internet-wise was way down. And so I can't recommend that everyone just do a ton of marketing, which unfortunately for us means we have to reach deeper into our sphere. This year I'm hosting way more parties. I have dinner at my house with clients, friends, family, friends of family every 2 to 3 nights. I have gotten really good at cooking steak with green beans and mashed potatoes because it's something that would traditionally be super expensive at a steakhouse, but I can cook for really cheap at home and really show off. And let's face it, everyone wants to come to a nice home cooked dinner right now. And so I work really hard to make sure that if my top 2 activities, the offer writing and the new clients getting off the bench, is not a high enough number for me to pay my bills, I immediately go to the bottom of my checklist and I go, well, I must not be contacting enough humans. My systems are not reaching enough humans. My ISAs are not setting enough appointments. And so immediately, I don't get to do social media. I don't get to watch Netflix. I don't get to, go play with my dog for extra time. I have to make sure that I have contacted as many human beings as I can emotionally stomach that day. Because guess what? Your clients actually would love to hear from you. You are the one that is embarrassed to call them, and you overthink all of the moments that they're like, oh, I can't talk right now, or I'm not into that conversation, or I'm busy, or I'm whining. They all have really big, complicated lives. And if you tap them at the wrong time, you're going to get what feels like a rejection, but it actually has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what they're dealing with in the moment. And so if you can practice just letting that emotionality go, putting on your checklist, okay, cool, I reached out to this person, it didn't go well, but I should check in probably at a different day and time and see if I can recapture that lead, that relationship, that anything, you will have a better day. And immediately you will find that you have more to do, because when you start with the base organization of calling humans and generating that first new client, they're going to say, okay, well, what's next? They're going to say, hey, I want to go look at houses. They're going to start looking on Zillow porn and sending you houses that they want to take a look at. And so I think it's, yes, Zillow porn. And so I find that my top line activities are very much dictated and generated by my and my team's ability to do our bottom line activities, which is really the only thing that we have control over. Unfortunately, it's the thing that we're also most afraid of doing. There's this thing called the backwards law. Is anyone familiar with it? No? Okay. So there's this thing in Navy SEAL training where they call it drown proofing. And it's one of the first challenges that they do. They bind all the cadets' hands and feet and they put weights on them and they throw them all into the pool. And the goal is that you have to survive for 5 minutes. And many people drown, a few people die. Some people have to get fished out, other people panic and, request to be pulled out of the pool. And if you fail this test, it's immediate disqualification from SEAL training. The people who pass understand a paradoxical thing, which is that with the amount of weight that you have on you and the binding of your hands and legs, there's no physical way to stay above the air for 5 minutes. You will wind up using all of your energy and starting to drown. So the correct way to pass this portion of Navy SEAL training is to remain calm. You slowly sink down to the pool, and then as soon as your feet touch the bottom, you use the weight to press back up, and you lightly glide back to the top. You wind up taking a big gulp of air, and then you go back down. And anyone who can remain calm during this exercise manages to pass, because it doesn't actually take a lot of skill. It doesn't take being good at swimming. It doesn't take being good at holding your breath. It takes good energy at being calm and reminding yourself that you can get through this. And for me, this is like a really appropriate way to approach any time you're working with clients, because you're always anticipating, what if they say no? What if this doesn't go well? What if I did something wrong? And the voice gets in your head. And if you just say, thank you, I'm drown proofing myself, everything is fine, and just focus on taking the action sets that you know lead to taking care of clients, then everything is going to work out in your best behavior and best efforts. Clients love to be taken care of, and they love to work with an authentic and real estate broker. I am pretty much an HR nightmare on steroids. And yet I consistently close $250,000 of business a year, every year, without much assistance. I have great team members, but a lot of the effort of work to convert clients is done by me. I have ISAs that open and originate conversations for me. And I have staff assistants that help do the busy work that allow me to focus on the 4 things that we've just talked about. Because if I'm focusing on those 4 things, and I remind myself that my emotionality about it is completely irrelevant, and that if I'm not feeling good, I need to fuck off and go do it anyway, then the rest of my life follows. And I actually have a ton of time in my day to watch Netflix, go eat avocado toast, and play with my dog. But they have to happen after I've done all of the necessary actions. Sorry, my phone is ringing from the background. Sorry about that. My phone and my computer are connected and it started ringing. So for me, I just, kind of want to open this to a conversation. I've listed my major activities that I do to create business. And these are all just things that I can go to immediately. My favorite things to do at this point are to reach out to my friends and family that I know have real estate and say, hey, let's throw a party. Please invite all of your friends, because it's very easy for me to generate 4 to 5 phone calls around one party. It's, hey, I'm thinking about having a party. Do you want to participate in the theme? Hey, I've chosen the theme. This is the theme. Here's the projected date, the actual invitation, RSVPing for it, and then reaching out to them at the end, regardless of if they showed up or not. My favorite is to throw an event where no one shows up, because it actually is cheaper. And it's nice when everyone shows up, but then I have to throw a 6-hour event and be on emotionally. It's great because it will generate business, but if no one comes to the event, people usually say, oh, well, that was a wasted event. That really sucks. I don't care, because my point was calling them 5 times. I want to talk to them about the event that's coming up and the event that's just happened. And if they didn't come, that's fine. I hope that they come to the next one, but it still allows me a very simple, easy way to say, hey, Debbie, I'm thinking about having a barbecue in July. Would you like to come? I didn't talk about real estate, but if I sold you your home 2.5 years ago and you're thinking about selling or buying, are you going to let me off the phone without asking me real estate questions? Or are you going to say, yeah, I'd love to come, and then, by the way, Hunter, I have a question. And so parties are the easiest one for me. I also would say cold calls. I will buy call sheets. If I don't have anything, I will absolutely go and buy a call sheet, and I will cold call the crap out of that person. And if I have 100 leads, I can probably convert at least 5% of them. And most people for cold calling, they convert less than 1 to 2%, because people hate being cold called. But if they're on a list, at some point in time, their information was sold for a good reason. They were looking for information. And so reject their negativity, let them know that you're sorry you cold called them, and put them on a drip and figure out how to get in touch with them. But people with real information today is a really amazing thing to have, even if they're mad at you at first. Apologize, send a gift, send a card, figure out how to recapture that relationship. But for me, I will take a negative human being as long as they have a willingness to transact. And I actually like that, because I know 0 people are going to follow up with that negative human. So if I can deaden my emotions and just check in with him and figure out what it is that he needs help with, then I'm going to win that client hands down. SOI check-ins to people these are easy. You should be able to use FORD, Family, Occupation, Recreation, and Dreams, or FROG, I think is the other acronym. I don't remember what that stands for, but it's basically the same. Call your people. They want to hear from you. And frankly, they are all busy and tired and sad because the economy is economying them too. And so, practice a 5-minute meditation on gratitude and then share that with them, because that will have a greater impact. And then figure out how you can improve their day, because they will remember how you made them feel. And at the completion of that conversation, you're thinking, well, Hunter, I haven't talked about real estate. Great. If this is someone you know, say, hey, Debbie, this has been a really great conversation. I appreciate chatting with you. Obviously the economy is the economy right now. You might not be looking to buy or sell a home, but if you know anyone that's looking to make a real estate move in the next couple of months, would you be willing to introduce them to me? And a lot of us pussyfoot around that conversation. Did everyone hear the clarity in what I asked? There was no confusion there. I acknowledged what's going on. I said it might not be for her. And I've asked her specifically, does she know anyone that can be referred to me? Do not shorten that conversation. Don't get all mealy-mouthed and think, well, I'm not sure about this ask. You have helped them in the past. People love to help people who have helped them, but they want to know what to help with. It is shocking and astounding to me the number of clients that say to me, Hunter, I don't want to bother you. I'm really sorry. I know you're so busy. And I'm like, oh my God, what about my social media gives off the idea that I'm too busy from my clients? And so I'm actively fixing this, but I'm also noticing that this is just a thing that everyone is doing lately, not wanting to be a burden. And so go and notify your friends and family that they get to burden you. It's okay. Old leads have been pretty good for me. Online leads, I got about 2 years, are coming around now. Yep, that's a big thing that I'm hearing is like, I remember when my online leads were like 30 days and we could put them in a house. That's not happening anymore. People are really looking, starting, getting involved, and then they're realizing that like their dream isn't connecting with reality. And so they have to go back and collect the resources that they need to make their dream happen, because we're in an age now where people who are buying houses have to be pretty financially competent almost everywhere. Houses are just more psychotically expensive, even at a base level. And so there's not this like, well, I'll just jump into $100,000 starter home and build equity from there. People are having to sit still and go, yeah, I don't like my rental, but I also hate that interest rate and I can't afford that payment. So I have to save money now. That means that our time cycle for keeping track of a client hasn't just doubled, it's like quadrupled. If Debbie is the average here with 2 years, that's not an unreasonable amount of time. I have clients that I have met 2 to 3 years ago that are still in rentals because they were like, man, COVID scared me. I'm not feeling it. I didn't have a job. And so we're really getting back into a normal market cycle. Yeah, exactly. Everyone sees the market change drastically and they get terrified. They go, Hunter, isn't it going to fall apart? And so we have to get really good at having that conversation. Calling referral partners. This is a big one. We all have friends in EXP across the nation. And so I try to make sure that I have friends who I know are in my referral areas. Sacramento and Spokane have a strange amount of crossover. And so I have a lot of friends in Sacramento and I make sure to check in with them. I have other areas that I have received clients from. And so I make sure to follow up with people who have referred me, even if it's somewhere weird that I don't expect to get clients from. They obviously have a connection to my city. And so I should have a connection to them. Meeting old friends for non-real estate related activities. This is a big one. Many of my agents on my team would say, Hunter, how do I get people to come and hang out with me? Ask them to hang out with you and don't mention real estate. Take them to play tennis, bocce the ball, blongo. I don't care. Go on a walk in the park. Go have a dog date. Figure out what it is that makes you a real person, not a plastic real estate broker, and start a group about that and make friends. Because if you become the governor of your own town and everyone knows and loves you, I promise that will be a bigger impact on your business than sitting at home twiddling your thumbs going, I don't know what to do. Go outside, meet people. And then marketing efforts, that's mailers to neighborhoods, passing out note cards to clients, business and personal pop buys, and then all of the social media advertising that we do. But you'll notice that I put that last. I don't think that is the most important place to be spending time, energy, or budget right now, because there is a distrust connect between online leads and agents. There's a giant national lawsuit making us all look bad. And so it's harder, I think, today to convert a new client. However, that doesn't mean it's impossible. And so I do think that it's necessary, but I think a lot of us are old enough in the business now that more focus on the people that we've already serviced and worked with is actually going to be better, not only for our emotionality, but for our pocketbooks. How is this registering for everyone? I don't like monologuing, so someone speak.
I think this is all terrific. And being that more personable person that's not so salesy and being more authentically themselves is, I think, much needed in today's society, just in general, not just in business. You know, we've gotten so digital that we're not personal.
I agree.
And I think that personal connection, I think we all crave it deep down inside, and it's tragically missing from a lot of relationships that people have, whether it be family relationships, friendships, or otherwise. And so one thing I love about being part of a cloud brokerage is I don't have an office to go to meet people. And one of the things I love is I get to meet people and share a cup of coffee, or not share, but have a cup of coffee together or have a meal together. And that makes that rapport building so much more, not in a weird way, intimate, but there's more of a bond that gets created. And I love that my clients consider me friends. I just had one of my sellers tell me she loves me. She's an older lady. She needed surgery. She didn't have anybody here. And part of the reason she's selling is because she's moving to be with her son, and he couldn't be here to take her to the hospital. So I took her to the hospital for her surgery.
Yeah.
And
that's
she's
awesome.
so grateful for that. And she's like, nobody would do this. Why are you doing this? And I said, because you need the help. I'm not going to let you Uber to the hospital, and that compassion and kindness, it goes a long way. And so I love everything that you're saying about how to meet with people, how to tap into their lives and be part of it.
I love that, because I think that during COVID, we all, at least I, was so busy just fulfilling the top 2 lines of my checklist, writing offers and getting people off the bench. That was 24/7, 365 for 4 years. And I was good at it. I closed many deals. Lots of people were really grateful for my skill set. But I honestly can't tell you a single client's name from that time period. I don't know a single thing about them. I don't remember their children. I don't remember their dogs. I remember the cabinet colors that they chose. I remember the appraised value and the 22 AD that we had to write. And I remember that the earnest money check was usually $100,000 to $200,000 because I was operating in Seattle. But I very rarely forget a client's name, and it made me aware of how little connection I had to the people that I was serving. And so as things have gotten slower and people have gotten longer to convert, I've noticed that everyone is not drown-proofing themselves. They're gasping for oxygen, and their commission breath is showing as they're going, this used to be so much faster. I don't understand what's happening. And instead, if you just take a breath, rest to the bottom of the pool, and take a jump, you'll notice that as you breathe for oxygen, there's actually clients all around you, but they need more time. They need to feel the connection, and they need to know that you care. No one wants to work with you because they know how much you can do. They want to work with you because they know you care about them. And so I find that when the market goes screwy and everyone goes, oh God, I don't know what to do, you have options. You can complain about the interest rate, you can piss and moan, and you can look for the wealthiest client. Or you can slow down and go, who's around me that needs help? And it won't be real estate help at first. You will be fulfilling completely strange obligations that are totally not in your job description. I choose to bake. I love baking, and I'm actually pretty good at it. And so I message people and I want to know what is their favorite baked good, even if it's super complicated, even if I've never made it before. What is it, and can I bring it to them? And I find that one dinner a year plus one delivered baked good means that the client is never going to leave me. Who would? We're such a rush for our clients. I love that. That's so true. All right, we're kind of at 8:30. I like to end things on time. If anyone has questions, I'm certainly willing to hang around and answer any of them. But this is my soapbox. Go hang out with your peeps and go be the governor of your town. Go feed people steak and green beans.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.